It is crazy.
Election 2024 with Team Gallagher's Joey Hudson.
He's in Des Moines, braving the cold weather, doing reporting all day today and tomorrow as well. Hey, Joey, let's dive into one of the first big questions of the night. If Ron DeSantis finishes in third place, what does that do to his campaign, considering he has camped out in Iowa? He has promised to win Iowa. Clearly, the DeSantis strategy was to take Iowa right off the bat. Is DeSantis going to look like last night's Dallas Cowboys versus the Green Bay Packers if he comes in third tonight?
I'm not really sure how Ron DeSantis explains this. You know, just as recent as around Christmas or so, late December, he was projecting that he was going to win Iowa, very confident. There's no doubt that the DeSantis campaign has put together the best ground game here in Iowa. They've organized in all 99 counties. They've knocked on hundreds of thousands of, and they should be very proud of that, but it doesn't seem to be resonating with people in the Hawkeye State, because if, in fact, the latest Des Moines Register poll is correct and Ron DeSantis finishes in third tonight, I think he has to reevaluate where he is. Now, Iowa after tonight and headed straight to South Carolina. He's skipping New Hampshire next week because maybe that's his strategy. Maybe he knows that he's going to concede New Hampshire to our former governor of South Carolina, Nikki Haley, and try to put all of his eggs in the South Carolina basket. It's going to be tough for him to explain, though, if he does in fact come in third tonight in tonight's Iowa caucuses.
Well, speaking of Iowa caucus goers, you caught up with a caucus goer named Norman.
Yes. I sat down with Norman and talked for a few minutes. I'm just really curious because, this is a different – caucuses are very different. In South Carolina and in most states, we simply go to the poll. We cast a ballot in the primary, and that's it. In Iowa, they go in, they sit down, they talk, they hear surrogate speakers from all of the various campaigns. And I was just curious if they really, when they're going to the caucus, do they have a pretty good idea of who they're going to support already, or do they really sit there and listen to the surrogate speakers, and if that has any bearing on who they ultimately vote for? Norman Bisak will be headed to his first caucus meeting tonight, and I asked him that question. Is he really going to be listening, or has he already made his mind up?
Yeah, I think there's a component of what they say and the role they see government in the future of this great country. But I also am listening to how they say it. And I think that has a bearing. I think that has a bigger bearing probably than it ever has. Because I think we have become a very divided nation. And we owe this country a path forward. I have a grandson. I want him to experience and to live in the security and have the benefits that this country has to offer.
And
Joe, you also go ahead.
As you heard Norman say, I mean, he truly is undecided. And that was right. Kind of curious to me because, I mean, right now, if I were to be allowed to vote in a caucus tonight, I know who I would vote for. But right. Evidently, there are a lot of people out there who wait to get to the caucus meetings, and that's how it works. Each caucus will gather, and there'll be surrogates from all of the campaigns there talking with the caucus goers, hoping to persuade them to vote for their candidate.
Well, we're also watching closely to see how Nikki Haley will perform tonight. You talked to Norman about Nikki Haley and her role in the Iowa caucus.
Yes, well, last week Nikki Haley offended some Iowans when she said that Iowa will make a mistake. She was kind of admitting that she's not going to win here tonight. So Iowa will make a mistake and that New Hampshire will correct it.
No, Joey, I put that off on the political rhetoric and kind of a sign of the times. I do think Iowa is a a great state that has some particular needs, and certainly its voice will be heard tomorrow night. And I think everybody has a right to vote the way that they feel compelled. I don't think you can make a mistake by casting a vote. Even if your particular candidate doesn't win, I think that that vote is representative and is important in the process that we go through as a nation. The political process has certainly gotten very antagonistic in recent years, and that's unfortunate. That is what it is. But no, I go more to the meat of what's the philosophy and the policies and maybe the mindset that the candidate is going to have and what kind of administration they would run.
And, you know, one of the other things I asked Norman, if in fact his candidate, and he says he has not decided yet, but if his candidate doesn't win tonight, will he support the ultimate nominee of the party? And he said absolutely. And I've asked several people that here in Iowa, and they all agree that we have to come together and support the GOP nominee to win in November. We cannot have 4 more years of Joe Biden.
Joey Hudson doing great work in Des Moines. Stay warm, my friend. We'll check with you again later this hour and preview tonight and where you'll be tonight as the caucus, the Iowa caucus going begins at 7 p.m. Iowa time.